Hello everybody, welcome back to C&S Corvettes in Sarasota, Florida. This is your buddy Lyle with my weekly podcast, and I'm continuing my series today on Special Edition Corvettes from the factory. Today I'm going to be covering C6 Special Editions running from 2005 to 2013, and believe me when I tell you there's a boatload of them. But before we get started with that, if you would please take the time to like and subscribe down here beneath me. That really helps me out. It'll get you better information. It'll let you know when a new video comes out. And more importantly, it helps me to make more videos for you. With that, let's get back and into the list of C6 Corvette Special Editions. If you remember way back in the dewy slopes of 2005, 6, and 7, everybody had money. HELOCs were everywhere. There was fresh money everywhere. You went to Corvette Carlisle, there were 60,000 people, all of them spending money like water. And then we got into the housing collapse and the freezing of money and then the crash. And the Corvette market changed a lot in the C6 run. But that did not stop GM from making a bunch of special editions of these cars. What we're going to do today is I'm going to quickly run through the special editions, the particulars about each one, and just kind of hit the highlights. I'm not going to go into a great deal of depth because we got a lot of material to cover, and you guys have told me that you don't like it when I break up one subject into more than one video. So, if you have questions about one of these particular cars, any of these special editions, comment below and ask me about them, and I'll do my best to get back and give you additional information on that particular car. All right, here we go. First special edition from the C6 run was in 2007 when the Corvette again paced the Indianapolis 500. They made 500 special edition Indy pace cars. They were atomic orange. They had black custom upholstery. They had the 2008 new wheels in 2007, and they had special trim and graphics. Other than that, there wasn't anything terribly different about them from an engineering aspect. Also in 2007, they brought out the limited edition of the Ron Fellows Z06. Now this car was Arctic white with Monterey red fender stripes, had a unique interior and exterior trim. There were only 399 made, and it was the first special edition that each car was signed by the person it was made for. So on the car, Ron Fellows signed every car that went out of the factory. If you can find one of those Z06s today, it'd be a really good one to put away for the future, because at only 399 made and signed by Ron himself, it's a good investment for the future. Moving on to 2008, we had 3 special editions, 2 of which were available to you, the consumer, 1 of which was available to Hertz Rent-A-Car. We'll get to that in a minute. In 2008, we had another Indy pace car. 234 coupes, 266 convertibles. These were black and silver because this was the 30th anniversary of the first Corvette pace car, this 1978. So they used kind of the same color palette in homage to that car. These cars were all signed by Emerson Fittipaldi, who drove the pace car at the Indianapolis 500 that year. There's a numbered plaque on each car, and he actually signed each one of those. Again, paint and appearance package, some unique bits inside, but the fact that they were limited and that they were signed by Mr. Fittipaldi make them special. In 2008, they also had the 427 limited edition Z06, of which they made 505, obviously for the 505 horses that the LS7 engine made. They were crystal red over dark titanium on the interior. They had the new spider wheels, which we would see come out in 2009 as an option on the Z06. And those were all signed by the retiring plant manager from the Bowling Green plant, Will Cooksey. Will is a big celebrity in the Corvette circles, and as an honor to him from his time at the plant, making sure Corvette was as good as it could be, this edition was dedicated to him, and he signed every last one of those cars. Also in 2008, Hertz Rental-Car purchased 500 Special Edition Corvettes as rental cars in their Fun Club rental program. They were all Velocity yellow with black stripes. They had 7-spoke wheels, and after their life with Hertz ended, they were available on the open market. So if you see one of these yellow with black stripe 2008s for sale, it is most likely a former Hertz rental car, of which there were only 500 made. Moving on to 2009, we had two more special editions come available. In 2009, they had what they called the GT1 Championship edition, of which they only made 53 coupes, 17 convertibles, and 55 Z06s. They were available in yellow with black trim or black with yellow trim, which honored the C6R race car that had great success in the ALMS, the American Le Mans Series, which is what it used to be called back in the day. They had ebony leather with yellow stitching inside. They also had that famous C6R Jake logo, which is like a skull logo, which if you're a Corvette person, I'm sure you've seen. They had also the competition Sport 52 coupe 20 Z06 made that had gray stripes, wheels, and headlights, an ebony interior with titanium stitching, special racing pedals, and a custom engine cover. They also came, and this was really cool, with racing number decals for the doors that weren't installed at the factory, but the kit came with the car, and those numbers were based on their VIN sequence. Coupes were equipped with Z51, the NPP switchable exhaust, heads-up display, and a differential cooler. Coupes white or black, Z06 came in silver or black. In 2010, they didn't have any special editions because in 2010 they introduced the Grand Sport. And the Grand Sport would go on to be probably the most popular C6 version made, and they didn't really want to water that down by having additional special options that year. So the Grand Sport was the big splash for 2010. Moving on to 2011 though, we are back to having a special edition car. This was the Z06 Carbon Limited Edition, of which 252 cars were made. They were created to mark the 50th anniversary of Corvette competing at Le Mans 24-hour race in France. They were equipped with the Z07 package, carbon fiber hood, carbon fiber splitters and rockers. They also had black mirrors and headlights, and they were available in two colors, Supersonic Blue, of which they made 166, or Inferno Orange, of which they made 86. My personal favorite is, I think, the most handsome car made in the C6 run was the Supersonic Blue Z06 Carbon Limited Edition. My personal preference, I think it's just awesome. Moving on to 2012, there were actually two special editions or special options available, one of which you're probably going to be really familiar with, one I'll bet you've never even heard of. The one you're going to know is the Centennial Edition, which marked GM's 100th anniversary. There were 2,201 made of all trims. It was available in Z06, ZR1, Grand Sport, Coupe, Convertible, all of it. They all had carbon flash paint, black wheels with red stripes, except for the Grand Sport, ebony interior with red stitching, microfiber seat inserts, steering wheel and shifter and armrests, which had an Alcantara feel, really racy, really nice. They had red brake calipers, and they had a satin stripe graphic going down the hood. These cars are very striking. They look very, very evil. And because you could get them in any trim option, you have a lot of choices when it comes to price levels and equipment for this appearance. So, cool one to look at. The one you may not be aware of was the B2K Callaway option. Now, for those of you Corvette fanatics out there who remember the B2K option from 1987 through 1991, that was the option you could choose when you bought your new Corvette, that you would pay for your new Corvette. It would be built at the Bowling Green plant, and once it was done, they shipped it to Old Lyme, Connecticut to Callaway, where they did amazing magic and made it into basically a supercar. Well, 2012 was the 25th anniversary of the first Callaway Corvette, so they made a limited number available to the public, 26 in fact, where you could again select the B2K option and have your brand new Corvette Grand Sport, which cost you $56,000 and change, shipped off to Old Lyme, Connecticut to Callaway and converted into the 25th anniversary edition. It had 620 horses. It cost $52,900 above and beyond the cost of the Grand Sport itself, and it came only in cyber gray metallic. But these cars were absolute monsters, and they're only going to go one direction in value. If you own one, good on you. If you want one, good luck. And now we reach the final year of C6 production, 2013. We had again count them, two special editions. One was the 60th anniversary design package, which was available throughout the product line. Again, it wasn't limited to just coupes or convertibles or just Z06s. You could get it in virtually any configuration. There were 2,059 of them made. They started in Arctic white exterior with a blue diamond interior. They had suede accents on the inside of the car, kind of like the Carbon Z06 did and the Centennial Edition. They had the ZR1 spoiler, it had gray calipers, it had silver blue accent graphics, and one of the coolest things they ever did was on the convertible tops, if you got this in a convertible, you had the option to have kind of these ghost stripes into the fabric of the top so it carried through all the way the length of the car, which was really, really neat. In fact, that design package was even available on the second special edition they did that year, which was the 427 Convertible Collector Edition. They made 2,552 of those cars. And this car featured the LS7 from the Z06 with its dry sump oiling system, but it was in basically the Grand Sport with body with still the steel frame from the regular production car, not the aluminum frame of the Z06. They were all manual transmissions. As I said, you could get the 60th package and combine the two, which would make a really special car. They featured a carbon fiber hood, and they had the ZR1 spoiler in the back. They also had special cup wheels available in 3 different colors, depending on how you outfitted your car. Most people that I've talked to believe that the 427 Collector Edition was the best of all possible worlds, because you were never allowed to have a Z06 during the production run that the top came off of, much less a fold-down convertible. So here, in the final year, as a final hurrah, GM finally gave people what they've been asking for since 2006, what was in essence a convertible Z06 with full power, full amenities, and a drop top. I hope you found this informative. I know I had to get through it quickly because we're trying to keep these a little bit tighter. Again, if you have questions, if you have comments, if you own any of these cars, please let me know and send me a picture. I'd love to see them, and I'll talk to you guys soon.